So thanks for joining us today.
Oh, great. Welcome to my office. It's good to have you here.
It's good to be here. So let's get started.
Okay.
You entered politics for the very first time in 2015. How's your experience been?
That's a great question. So I have to say I'm a bit of a Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Okay.
So just the honor and of being elected here in Oakville and showing up in Ottawa and walking up to the Hill, I have to say that was really a powerful experience for me, and today continues to be. I mean, this is a fantastic community. It's a very smart, educated, very vocal community, and continuing to represent and hear their voices. So I never let go of that's really why I'm in Ottawa and doing what I'm doing is to represent Oakville. But beyond that, I mean, there were some things I was quite interested in. I campaigned on them. So I wanted to make sure that we fought for healthcare, that we fought for jobs in the economy. So I got on the health committee. We've done some great reports there. I was chairing the Health Research Caucus. And I also started up an auto caucus. So I've been chairing the auto caucus, which has been a really, I think we've been quite influential in shaping and steering some of the directions that the government's taken there. So it's been good. I've been very engaged and active with stuff, but at the same time, I said I would be Oakville's voice in Ottawa, and I've continued to be that.
Well, the auto caucus, extremely important with Ford in our backyard, and a chamber member.
Yeah, so there's been almost $5.6 billion invested in the auto sector between the big assembly plants and the supply chain since 2015 when we were elected. So the economy's been great. We had the setback with GM. That's quite a tragic outcome for Oshawa, but it wasn't about the economic environment here in Canada and the support for the industry. That was just the wrong product, and GM really transforming their business. So we're doing everything we can to get those people back. But otherwise, I mean, the economy has been phenomenally strong, and the auto sector has been very, very robust. So I'm happy with that work, and happy to see the health accords done. And I've been pushing hard on about 1 in 4 Canadians can't afford medications, and to me that's horrible. If you have a sick kid and the doctor writes a prescription, you and I can go and fill that prescription, and you take your child home and give them the medicine, and they get better.
Yeah.
1 in 4 Canadians, that doesn't happen. So that's been something I've been really pushing hard on.
Well, and recently you've been appointed a parliamentary secretary to the Minister of Health. So you're continuing that work in that role as well? Yeah,
so it's the parliamentary secretary role is it's helping the minister work with the elected members. I take part in question period now, but it also means I have a bit more influence and can involve myself more in the health file, work with the committee in a different way than being as a member of the committee. So yeah, it's been really interesting, and again, I've had lots of feedback from this community on what I should be doing in that role. This Oakville is an amazing community, I have to say that. And,
we think we're very fortunate to be the chamber here in Oakville as
yeah,
well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you are nominated to run in 2019, that you had that nomination recently. So what keeps you going?
Well, jobs in the economy are still, we've created over 700,000 new full-time jobs since 2015, but the economy is still iffy, right? So I'm going to continue to drive to make sure that advanced manufacturing and the economic stimulus that we need in Ontario is there. And while people generally are doing better, people are anxious right now, but they are doing better. Real wage growth has happened. The unemployment that I saw back in 2015, as I knock on doors, has disappeared. But poverty, the cost of housing, there's still some people that need some help. So that will be something that I'd be pushing for. Pharmacare, some kind of solution to those 1 in 4 Canadians that can't afford prescription medicines, I think is a really important step forward. And then for me, I'm about rights and freedoms. That's a really important part of who I think we are as Canadians, and working to make sure that we do respect each other, that we have that our diversity is valued and treasured, and we don't have through the visit of politics, that we don't have people being disadvantaged in Canada, and that's something I think is worth fighting for day in and day out as a Canadian.
So part of our role as a chamber is we do a lot of advocacy work, whether it be at the municipal, provincial, or federal level. We just had a municipal campaign here in Oakville. We ran a platform, a roadmap for business success, focusing in on business competitiveness, transportation, innovation and our business's ability to recruit and retain talent. And that was focused on a municipal campaign, but we think a lot of those advocacy asks translate to the federal campaign. With an election coming up next October, I know it's almost a year away, but it's going to be here quickly.
Oh, that's short. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. What are you hearing from the community with those issues and other issues as well?
Great. So first of all, I want to thank the Chamber. I mean, we've done numbers of roundtables with your different committees, heard from your membership. Every budget I've been in to do a roundtable with you to hear what the budget issues are. So the Chamber has been really effective in keeping me informed on the business community's needs and issues and what the concerns are. But just to step back a little bit, just talk about the economic framework we're in. So with the Canada Child Benefit, which it's a tax-free payment to parents with children in certain income groups, about 9 out of 10 Canadians are receiving it. In my riding of Oakville alone, this riding of Oakville, over 48 million a year is coming into those families, and they are people that spend it on goods here, on services. So for small businesses in Oakville, it is an enormous lift. I mean, that's 48 million into the local economy just on that Canada Child Benefit. The USMCA, the United States Mexico-Canada Trade Agreement, in case you didn't notice that. And I heard when that was looking difficult, the messaging I was getting from the community and from the business community in particular was, you've got to get this deal done. We need the deal with the U.S. We're not sure about making investments. What does it look like going forward? Yeah. So getting that deal, and this is a really good deal for Canada. It's particularly a good deal for Oakville, the advanced manufacturing sector, the auto sector, food manufacturing, all of that is going to benefit extremely well through the USMCA. And we're lowering the small business tax, so bringing it down from 11 in 2019, it will drop to 9%. So that's all setting, I think, a really good platform for the businesses here in our community in Oakville and broader. There's an advanced manufacturing supercluster that's been created. And again, that's for Oakville, that's the heart of all what we do here. Most of our business is advanced manufacturing in auto, in food, and in nuclear and in aerospace. So they'll all benefit from, I think, that cluster and how we focus on both the job creation, on skills and training, working with universities, private sector businesses to make sure we have a really strong, robust, innovative sector in advanced manufacturing. We've invested in Oakville Transit, and we've invested in Metrolink. So I think some of the transport issues we're going to start to see more improvement and gains. So it's already a pretty efficient system, but getting better. And then I was really happy to see that the Canadian Chamber of Commerce came out in support of the fact that we have to begin to realize that there is a cost to pollution, that there is an impact from carbon pollution in particular, and supporting some kind of carbon pricing, a price on that. And that, I think, I'm hearing that from some businesses as well. They want to make sure the balance is right.
Yeah, there has
still got to have. They got to have the business platform's got to make sense. They have to be competitive with the U.S. But at the same time, everyone's starting to feel the impact of weather change, climate change, in part because of man-made carbon. Yeah, we have great leadership in Ottawa through the Canadian Chamber and Perrin Beatty, who's really championed not just climate change, but the new NAFTA. So it's important for us to see that happening there and our advocacy. And I think they've been really strong partners with this government as we were working through NAFTA. I think there's been good consultation as well with the carbon plan. So as always, the Chambers of Commerce, I find your chamber to be extremely beneficial to the work that I do here and hearing the voice of the business community. And I believe that's true across Canada for the government as well. Good.
So we talked about a lot of the opportunities, the space that we've advocated in. What are some of the challenges you think the government's facing going into 2019? And what can Oakville businesses do to make sure they have a voice at that table, to make sure they're supporting the work that's going on in Ottawa?
Well, we talked a bit already about the price on pollution, so I think that's an important area for businesses to focus on. And it's a bit uncertain in Ontario right now because there has to be a federal and a provincial sort of collaborative role in that. So I think if the chamber believes that is the right direction, I think there needs to be support for that at the provincial level, and there's roles there. But at the same time, I think there's lots of new opportunities. We've opened trade agreements now with all of Europe, with the Pacific Partnership Group, with the U.S. and Mexico. There are enormous trade opportunities, and I think the challenge now for our local businesses is to understand how to access those opportunities,
Absolutely.
how to grow into them. So we are making funds available. So in addition to funding innovation, which is sort of, I have an idea, can you help me flesh my idea out?
Yeah.
Once you've proven that idea, how do you then grow that? How do you expand your business now to sell not just nationally, but internationally? How do I access those foreign markets? And that's something that we're starting to look at. How do we assist? What's the role of the federal government in growing businesses locally? And we need to get our oil to international markets.
Yeah.
That's a pretty important piece for Western Canada,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be, I think, a big push on
Okay.
for us at the government level. And I don't know how that affects local business directly here, but it's just important for our
It affects the
economy.
overall economy,
Yeah,
right?
it's the economy,
And
yeah.
the trickle-down effect, no matter
Yeah.
what industry we're talking
But
about.
advanced manufacturing is moving. We've had,
Yeah.
I think it's a 15 to 20% growth in advanced manufacturing since 2015,
Mhm.
with a real push in Ontario in particular
Mhm.
on those kinds of investments I was talking about.
Yeah, and lots of Oakville businesses
Yeah.
that can take
That's
advantage of that.
what we do. I mean, you asked what it's like being an MP.
Mhm.
Touring all the local businesses is fascinating.
Yeah.
And the diversity of the manufacturing that's going on in Oakville and the
Mhm.
complexity of it, as I said, from aero to nuclear to auto to food manufacturing, there's phenomenal work happening. And what really hits me is the fierce competitiveness of the owners
Mhm.
from what does my customer need, and being the first person to sort of find a better solution for that customer, and then pushing hard to get that out to market and serving their market space,
Mhm.
but also growing jobs here and doing well themselves. So that to me is a great thing.
So going back to one of the things you mentioned earlier on the Mr. Smith Goes to Ottawa, what's been the biggest kind of aha moment for you or pinch me moment as being an MP?
Well, standing up in the House of Commons and talking about Oakville.
Yeah.
The first time I did that was a very powerful moment. I think Oakville's got some, as I said, it's a great community, it's a caring community, it's a diverse community, and it's a very caring, progressive group of people, and that needs to be heard from in Ottawa. So I'm speaking up for Oakville. That was a really important piece for me.
So do you have any plans for the holidays here in Oakville?
Yeah, well, absolutely. So number one for me is, the one thing about this job is it does take you away from your house and your family half the year. So being with my family over the holidays is important, and I think for all of us, I have, once you lose that a little day in, day out, you realize how valuable and important that is. So getting back in touch with family, and the second is getting back in touch with the community. So this will give me a chance. I'll be out knocking on doors and saying hello to people. And again, if you don't, Oakville comes to me in certain ways, and sometimes I go to Oakville and meet them on the doorsteps and in coffee shops and just hear what's going on, and that'll be my focus.
Well, we look
over the holidays
right.
anyway. Yeah.
Well, we look forward to the next 10 months, bringing the business concerns, the priorities of business to your attention and working with you in the lead up to the next federal election.
Great. Well, can't wait for that. And as I said, thank you to the Chamber for the work you do, and for you and your members. Have a very, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, however you celebrate, and have a wonderful and very prosperous 2019.
Well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.